Caldwell makes a whole selection of AR500 steel targets. In this video, we're going to have some fun with them. Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. I'm back with Travis Fox. Thank you for joining us,
Hi,
Travis.
Gavin. Glad to be here.
Nothing, well, very few things bring us together collectively more joy than
Steel targets, yes.
seeing the target move, hearing the thwack on the steel, hearing the ringing sound. I mean, it's just instant gratification.
Oh, yeah. What an endorphin rush that is for me. I mean, it's like, what were you saying? Even like when Gavin's outside shooting, and it's like, oh, yeah, I like that sound.
Yep, we're working in the office. We can hear it. We were just hearing a guy thwacking the steel with 30-06. Very, very loud, very distinctive sound. And, you know, I like to punch paper, you know, those tiny groups and work in the bench rest. But there's some days when you just want to get out there, like with our new Henry Model X 3030, and just have the satisfaction of seeing that steel ring. So you might not be aware, Caldwell actually has an entire suite of steel targets, and we've got some of them here. The categories include IPSC targets. They've got an octagon that's roughly the shape of a stop sign. There's the coffin, and then there's the Caldwell C. Let's talk about the different sizes we have. We have two 66% IPSCs here.
Then we got this 33%. They do have a full size over
We got to
these
get
two
some of
here.
those.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Then they call these the Caldwell C target. There's the 8-inch and the 5-inch. And we have this 10-inch coffin-shaped target. Kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
And then we have this octagon gong. And then they have one other gong that we have up on the hill that's not here right now.
Gotcha. Let's talk about the hangers, actually, because we got a bunch of those as well. Now, we've been using two of these, right? The 2x4 plate hanger and the T-post plate hanger. Let's talk about how you put those together, how you use them.
Pretty simple. The T-post hanger, you just put the T-post in. You make sure that the spine is facing back because there are two screws that go into the back, and then the target hangs off the front of that. There are a spring on these to help mitigate the hit. Get some good wobble on there, get some good ring with it. And then the 2x4 post is the same thing as the T-post hanger. Just fits on the 2x4, just like I'm sure you guys have seen many of these, and just slips right over the top of that. It's really easy to place the 2x4 when you shoot those up a little bit from that splatter.
Yeah, the one that we've got here is actually kind of shot up. And then Caldwell also makes straps, and then we've got one of their freestanding target stands that has chains, or you can use straps, whatever.
Right.
You know,
you get some good motion on those when they're just hanging there. Target hits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about AR500 steel. It is the most popular steel that's used for steel targets. It's corrosion resistant. It's got the hardness between 477 and 550 BHN. You need that hardness so that you don't get, you know, all the dents and pock marks and damage. But if you get too hard, you're going to get too brittle.
Yeah,
so there's this
brittle then.
optimal place. And right here on the back of these targets, there's a velocity chart. This is the interesting thing about steel targets is it's really more about velocity than it is anything else. A 22-250 going at 4,000 feet per second will literally go through one of these targets, which is kind of insane.
Which I have actually seen at the gun range. I saw a guy shoot a 22-50, went right through the target, punched a little hole right through it, and you're just like, whoa.
And so what they list is for a 223 Remington, you're going to have a classic 55 grain projectile and a muzzle velocity of 2871. So if you have a muzzle velocity of over 3,000, you might need to place it at distance and just look at your dope calculations, right? Look at your shooter app or your Straylock or whatever and make sure that you're down around that 2871 or lower. 6.5 Creedmoor, classic 130, 2921 feet per second, 308, 168, that's the median weight of bullet for that, 2680. So we're in that 26 to 2900 feet per second range. And, you know, as long as you stay within that, yeah, you'll get surface texture, but you're not going to be, you know, blowing through the target. So this was pretty cool. I came back from a trip out of town over the course of the weekend. Travis was hard at work during the weekend. He had gone up onto what we call the industrial yard. It's now called the Ultimate Reloader Steel Arena, right? And he put up all these targets. And until you walk down to the middle where you shoot from, you know, you don't get the full sense of it. But they all came into view. We've currently got 9 targets there. And what fun this is. You've seen this evolve over the course of a few videos. We had 2 out there, and then all of a sudden I come back and there's 9 out there. So we used a combination of different styles here, different target sizes. And what's fun about it is you can hit the pistol target. It's at about 60, 70 yards, I think.
Yeah.
the upper ones.
The upper ones, yes.
And then you can also change, obviously, shooting position and angle and all that. And it's just, super
Yeah.
cool stuff.
We have more to put out there, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but it's pretty fun right now to do it. There's some challenging, some of the smaller ones I put out there at distance. They're harder to hit for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still fun. And they all make that wonderful ringing sound.
Yes. It was fun with the Henry Model X. You should check out that video, our 30-30 lever action video. We had the reflex sight on there, and then we put a scope on there. And oh my word, the scope was like cheating.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it was. It was like whack.
Yep. Oh, and of course we used the fiber optic built-in sights as well.
Yep.
So we had 3 different sighting things.
But the one thing we did on that's really cool, you guys should do, is we put a suppressor on a lever gun.
Oh yeah.
So if you haven't seen that video, you need to go back and look at that. But a suppressed lever gun on steel is pretty cool.
Yeah, suppressed anything that's subsonic on steel. We've shot the CMMG Banshee 9mm subsonic with 147 grain bullets out there with an Osprey 45 suppressor and pistols with suppressors. Yeah, it's definitely the way to go. And then if you watched our Caldwell target camera video, we showed that 550-yard target that you had put up. You had the yellow is interesting. I actually like the yellow color a lot because it tends to be easier to see than white.
Yeah.
Or tarnished gray. So I might actually get yellow paint to repaint these with,
Yeah.
And it shows up, as you can see here, on the target camera really well,
It does show
too.
up very well, yes.
Yep. That 223 trainer, that's a really, really fun setup.
Yeah, that was a really fun one to shoot that. And we did get good feedback from that target at 550 yards, so I was happy with that.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So the last thing that we did was kind of a work your way up. What did we start with? 22 long rifle?
Yeah, we used a little 22 long rifle. We're going to go through a torture test progression here on this thing.
Yeah, so we had 22 LR, we had 9mm pistol, we did 300 blackout out of an AR, we did 30-30 with the Henry lever gun. Your AR-10 was just thwacking that steel. That makes a really nice sound.
Yeah, we put the slow-mo camera out there, and you guys got to watch this. It's so cool. The thing hits the steel, and you can just see the steel just wiggling and wobbling out there. It's pretty fun to watch. Yeah.
Really, really good stuff.
And then what else do we do? So I'm like, Gavin, what about that full auto? So he's more than happy to oblige me on that.
Oh, yeah. Full auto, for me, honestly, just trying to keep it on the target is half the fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's harder than what people think, for sure.
And suppressed, with this suppressor I'm using, I don't have a compensator, right? So you have to work really hard at it. If you have the right muzzle brake with the right compensation on it, it's fairly flat shooting, but it's totally fun. And then what about that 12 gauge? You were shooting those 3-inch?
So yeah, I brought my Benelli M2 out, and I had these 3-inch number 4 buck, and that thing is a little punishing to shoot, I'll tell you. It was more than the 308, and I was like, I got to shoot this steel plate with this thing, and just sit there and just hammer it. It was pretty crazy to see on the slow-mo camera.
Yeah. So some of the ideas I have for next steps are I've got some old truck wheels and tires, and I thought about welding a 2x4 bracket so that we could drop a 2x4 onto that and then clamp it or bolt it in, and then we can hang this hanger on top and then easily replace it and then also move it around, kind of like the old volleyball nets.
Sure.
Where you have the tire and you kind of roll the tire and walk along with it.
Yep.
Because in that industrial yard, we have a lot of different ways to configure our shooting courses of fire, and fine-tuning things for pistol and rifle and so on and so forth. What were some of the next things that you were thinking of?
I want to get some of these other pieces out at distance, of course.
Yeah.
I like shooting these things long range. So that's definitely on my list to do. We got to go out and hike these out on the hills somewhere.
Yeah. Definitely fun. If you don't have a collection of steel targets, even if you don't have property, I would say you got to get some. It takes just a few minutes to walk them out and set them up. If you're shooting in the woods at your favorite shooting pit, or if you're camping somewhere, definitely a great way to make friends. And if you use the 22-250, it's a great way to make enemies. So just keep that in mind, right?
Yeah. The thing is they're reusable. They last a long, long time. You take care of them, they're going to last the rest of your life, honestly.
Yeah.
If you're smart about using them, you take care of them, your kids will have them. Your
Yep.
kids will end up with them. So
Yep, just get a bunch of yellow paint. So here's what we want to know is what kind of steel targets are you shooting? Have you bought any of these Caldwell steel targets? And then what are you hanging them on? Oh, also what are you shooting them with,
yeah.
right? And at what range? Drop a comment and we'll start a discussion. I think we have a lot of work to do to hike more steel out. So we're going to take off. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make your voice heard. If you have something to say, please drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications because you're not going to want to miss the awesome content that is coming up. And finally, flex your reloading pride. You could look great in one of these t-shirts. We've got multiple designs at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'll see you later because I'm off to go shooting.